Okay.
Like a therapy session, yeah?
Yeah.
Basically, what this is I couldn't afford therapy, so I thought this is what I'll do. Nana and I, well, Nana and I've been dipping in. I've been watching these two programs on Netflix. One's called
no, one's on Netflix, one's on Amazon Prime.
You talk.
Right, so the Netflix one is called The One, and it basically explores this type of DNA testing where you can just send off a piece of your hair and it will tell you who your soulmate is. And your soulmate could be on the other side of the world, they could be down the road, but it is like your genetic soulmate can be found. And basically the one on Amazon Prime is called Soulmates, and it's like 8 different stories exploring this same type of technology that is in the one. And it just shows you all of the different ways that it can go right or it can go wrong. Now, my question is, if this becomes a possibility and you could get a DNA test to find out who your soulmate is, would you take the test?
No.
Because
Are you saying that because you're sitting next to each other?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think it would tell me that it was Gemma because I don't believe it.
I won't do it because I feel like the connection that I have with Mike is way more than I don't even.
It's just love.
As long as love. So am I going to now try to form another connection with somebody when I've already done the work? Do you know how hard it is to like?
You know what? You hit the nail on the head.
Wait, but is it not saying they have to be your soulmate? It's just telling you, this guy over here might be your soulmate, right?
Yeah.
It's not relevant, Jerry. It's not relevant. It's not.
Yeah.
This is it. It's how can I be 21 years into this relationship, and then you're telling me that I can do science, and you can tell me that my soulmate is. And so, what about the last 21 years?
But you also believe that there's a soulmate, that there's one soulmate for you.
I don't believe that there's one soulmate.
No, I don't even believe in the term soulmate. Look, the thing is, right? I was listening to a conference today actually, and it was really interesting because they were just talking about the constructs of everything: the word love, the word sex, the word soulmate, the word all. And it's actually timely that you say this because a lot of what they were saying is like we're told what these things mean, right? And we're told what this emotion therefore means this, right? And therefore you associate all of these things together. But like all you're doing is saying this person fits into a construct of the word soulmate, right? What does that actually mean? It doesn't mean anything really, like from my perspective. So for me, I'm like, I don't know, if somebody was like, oh, that's your soulmate across the street, I'd do the same thing I do to everybody else around here and walk on. I don't even raise my hand, but it's visual, innit? So I had to do something what I usually do, keep walking. But so for me, it's like I don't really that it's not a romantic idea for me to like find stuff like, especially like DNA with my one. You have to take something from my beard, my lockdown beard. There's nothing up here to take.
It would just never happen. That could never happen. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense. If they can't tell us whether we've had COVID or not. Whether I've got a soulmate that lives around the world.
In Brazil. With the manual car.
I think it's dangerous because if someone's not like secure in their relationship, that just mind fucks them, man. They're just now gonna be thinking, oh, but what if?
And there are a lot of people that believe in, soulmates and a lot of various words and meanings and spiritual things. So yeah, as you said, I don't think it's a good thing. I think that's pretty
interesting. So you two don't really believe, is this right, Kai and Jem? You don't really believe in the term soulmate, like as a
term? No, I think that No, I don't think that there's one person out there for everybody. I think that there's probably loads of people out there for everybody. And if you want to find someone, you can. And then when you do, you know, I think relationships are about compromise and hard work. Because anybody that says relationships are easy and you just have to love each other and that's it. No, it's not like that. You have to compromise like the rest of your life.
Especially when there's family and kids and
Work
other
hard.
things involved, you know what I mean?
And
So-
whilst you're doing that, you're obviously, you know, trying to make sure you're happy and you're enjoying every day and taking each day as it comes kind of thing. I can't personally believe that there's only one person out there in the whole world for everyone.
Makes no sense.
Because nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. I love
So-
Kayode to bits, but who knows what's going to happen in 10 years time. He could run off and find somebody else.
And the risk factor keeps it interesting, right? You know what I mean?
Bro, you're playing with fire.
You never know.
They really boring and just rubbish when I'm older. When we get to like 60, 70, I think it's getting older every time.
You making it older. I told her it's guaranteed. I'm guaranteed to stay with her until she's
You
50.
can go and find
And then after that,
a
we're
little
going to have
lady
to see how it
keep you
goes.
happy.
You're gonna get.
We're gonna do like a 3-month rolling contract.
Yeah, we just listen. I think. Look, me and Gemma, you guys haven't met us before. We're like this, but we're 20-something years in as well. As you say, we supposed to have been married during lockdown. Would have been our 20th anniversary of the day that we met. So lockdown scuppered that, and you know we haven't been on holiday since. So don't mind this. Area.
But I want to ask another question. I want to ask another question because obviously you just said, Kayode, you guys have been together for like 20 years. You guys have been together for 12 years. Us as well, 20 years. And a lot of the time, when you tell people that you've been together for this amount of time, people are like, "Oh, what's the secret?" And I'm like, I can never answer that question because.
And they always fuck me, the people that ask you that question.
The only people I know, mate. They're the only people I know, fella. All right. But if you was to say, not necessarily like giving advice, but what do you think has worked for your relationship that you've been able to maintain it for the amount of time that you have?
I mean, look, I think it's me and Gemma enjoy doing things together and the same things. Like during lockdown, we've been working out together nearly every day. Yeah, we've got PT that we do once a week when he was coming here, and then we do Zoom. We like drinking together. We like watching, you know, we do everything together. Do you know what I mean? So it's not, I think that we, from a kind of, I don't know. I always say that like me and Gemma, we're heading in the same direction, and at the same time we're enjoying all the things that we can possibly do, right? And like me and Gemma try to do everything all the time, right? And sometimes we're trying to do too many things, right? But we can do them together. We want to go, as I said, we want to go out with the kids and we want to go swimming or whatever that's a terrible example, but but just we do things together, and we're both very driven people in our own different ways, right? And I think we both have this kind of like, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to succeed, and whether that's succeeding at bringing up our children, whether that's, you know, succeeding at, you know, drinking the most at a night out, whether it's succeeding at exercising, like we'll be competitive about everything. You know, me and Gemma when we used to go on holiday, just me and her, when we were younger, we would have a pad in our hotel, and it would list down all of the activities we were doing. Yeah, so whether it was mini golf to tennis,
card playing
cards, and there would be a tally, and we would be tallying that. It would be yeah. Gemma sometimes won that card.
Whatever. Here we go.
But the thing is, it was never like, it was just because it was fun as opposed to anything else. And I think for us, and I mean, look, people, when I speak to my mates and stuff about like relationships and stuff, I'm the worst because my advice is just always so
blunt.
Just like, I'll be like, nah, that she's wrong. Tell her she's wrong. And then they'll be like, but then do you think you're right or do you think you're wrong? I think I'm right. Well, then you need to say that you think you're right, and this is why you think you're right, right? And I think sometimes with me and Gemma, I think that's what works, is that we just tell each other the truth, as painful as that truth may be to each other. And my computer keeps unlocking, sorry. And I think that for us is the most important thing, that we have to just continue to bring each other up. And sometimes you might have to knock, or she might have to knock me down a couple of pegs, right? Which happens often, right? But I think that to me is it. If there's something there that you can wrap up and take, great, but I don't know what the advice is.
I think
Michael and Blessing.
I think for us, the main thing that's always kind of ran, the main thread that's always ran through our relationship in general was respect. We'll have that, we're mutual respect, we're teammates, we're partners in this thing. There's no one is above the other, not because I'm the man or you're the woman. It's like, we're in this together and we make decisions together, right? I think one crucial thing that we learned like a few years ago, actually, when we're doing therapy, which I highly recommend that everyone does, marriage counseling, therapy, is bloody good stuff, man, was love languages. Yeah. And I for one, because I think I'm relatively stubborn. I mean, I'm a little bit stubborn. We learned about love language, and it just unlocked so many things that I just thought, like this woman actually works in many ways I didn't think, and she does certain things that make me feel loved because that's what I like. And I think after we learned that lesson, another thing as well that we do, and this may be TMI, but hey, we're TMI people, is we do sex training sessions.
Oh my gosh.
No, don't. We're going to bring it up.
Go.
Here. We'll have children, so we can talk about it, right?
Me, so, I'm taking notes. Go.
Get your pen and paper, take notes.
Stop. No.
So Blessing is cringing, but this is not Blessing. This is a weekday.
But this is what I said to you the other day. We shouldn't be cringing about these topics. We should be able to talk to each other about sex.
Absolutely.
100%.
We've spoken about it on the podcast extensively.
Plus, this was Blessing's idea anyway. Anyway,
what was my idea? The training session.
Yeah, the training session. Well, I can.
So expand. Tell me.
What is it?
Expand. Come on. Stop the chit chat now. Bring me the details.
All right, guys. So basically, once or twice a month, Blessing and I will get together, put the kids away, we'll have a conversation, we'll talk, kind of thing. And then we'll just try things out. So maybe, we might try a different head game, and I might try different things. And, we'll both be making notes. So the aim of the game is you try it for like a couple of minutes, have a timer, stop so no one gets, carried away. And then you make notes, and then you feed back at that person. And then after you feed back, like, okay, I think you should have done it like this, or I think we could do this. We go for another round and try it out. And if it works, it's perfect. Take the notes. And at the end of the session, you throw the notes away and we just go for it.
Basically.
And then that's how we've elevated our sex life, and we have real steamy, passionate, orgasmic, very raunchy, Latino loving. I'm just proud of you. I just need to talk about it so people can know about this stuff. Do you know what I mean?
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually properly okay.
Yeah, just try everything, man. Sometimes I might find the odd. I used to read that Cosmopolitan magazine because women read that stuff, right? And it was simply that it always seems to have things about what women like, right? So I thought, let me try this. So I was like, babe, I need to try something on you. Lie down, close your eyes, bend your knee this way, and twist it this way, and let me try this. And and sometimes it works, and sometimes this is bullshit.
I think the main thing is communication.
Yeah, it's a communication tool,
respect.
Really.
Yeah, communication, respect.
Yeah.
he just digressed.
No, but that's a good angle anyway.
Yeah,
to throw in there. I do think that we don't talk about, especially when you're in a couple for a while. Sex becomes it's like young people thing, or like the new relationship thing. Like people don't really talk about it.
God forbid.
It's very important here.
No, thank you for sharing that, man. What she said.
Well,
yeah, guys, we're finished now.
What do you think, guys?
Sorry, Kayode, you were gonna say something.
No, I was gonna say that, another thing, the first lockdown, I think, it was quite funny because I think even our sex life improved, right? And it was I don't know, maybe in my head, I thought, you know, maybe that because we were around each other all the time, you know, it might have the reverse effect, right? But actually it was a good thing, because it was like, actually, I think, as I said, you had more time to experience the good stuff in your relationship, as opposed to you could deal with the bad. You had more time to just get rid of other things, like, and I think so I think that was an interesting. I mean, we haven't gone down to like that. I'm not sure,
Kayode doesn't do any of that stuff.
Yeah,
Kayode wouldn't be interested. Kayode doesn't talk, so there's no chance he'll be able to do counseling, sex talk, advice, or anything. He doesn't talk to me, let alone anybody else.
You know, Kayode's eyes just roll.
I have always said I'd be interested to do something like that.
Which one? Counseling or the sex? What did you call it? Sex instruction.
I'm happily
I think definitely.
It sounds
when we were
interesting.
getting married, that's probably the only counselling that we went for. But it actually really was.
Is that the forced one that you get married in the church?
Yeah. You know, you have to go for like.
Yeah.
Did you say the first time?
The forced one.
Oh.
No, when you have to do it, you get married in the church. That counseling.
What?
Yeah. When the priest sits down. Yeah.
You have to go for counselling session with the priest. It's 6 sessions, wasn't it?
6 sessions.
You have to go for 6 sessions, or they won't marry you, basically.
Wow, I've never known.
When he first said it, I was a bit like, okay. But he was really helpful, because we had never really spoken about finances, and he just brought that up. It was like, have you ever spoken about finances before? And I was like, no. And then he just opened up so many factors that by then we're 12 years in. So you think you know each other, like, you know, we know all we need to know about each other, but obviously you don't.
But then also, just to jump in, like, even with the finances thing, it wasn't that we were kind of, oh, that's mine, you can't have that. But we've always kind of been like, if you need something, here it is. And so there's never, rightly or wrongly, there had never been a need to really sit down and be like, okay, this is the finances and whatnot have you, because we always knew, like, if I need,
you can ask the other person. But what he highlighted were, both of us are not great with money, and he was like, who's the stronger one? And it was like, there's nobody that's great over here.
Can we bring a third person into the relationship?
It was like that, but it was like, he just highlighted, well, you know, baby's coming along, you've got to be more responsible. It was nice having somebody that didn't know us highlight parts of our personalities and our relationship, and that we could speak to, although it was just 6 sessions. But definitely by the end of the counseling course, I was like, yeah, we should do this, although we haven't ever
never done it again.
We haven't done it,
never done it again.
I do think that it would be good. Maybe we should.
I mean, look, I think everybody that does it says that it's good, right? But just for me,
most, not everybody.
Most, but just for me,
I know quite a few folks that are like, it was probably the worst, but that's the counsellor as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the counsellor.
Is that because they didn't enjoy the experience, or it changed their relationship?
It changed their relationship because they thought that the counsellor was on the other person's side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it didn't really help, because they just felt like 2 people were ganging up on them. I mean,
See,
it may have been factual. They may have been in the wrong though, but it didn't help.
Yeah, that's what I would be worried about. You know, I mean, I'm always interested in hearing other people's opinions about myself. I'm quite happy hearing it. Sometimes it's hard to hear about yourself, but I'm happy to hear and, you know, get sometimes advice that I need. I don't think you'd be able to listen to.
I don't want anybody to tell. You know what? I'll tell you something. The other day, someone tried to tell me something about my child, and I was like, we're relatively close, yeah. And I was like, so are you telling me something about my child? Because that's what I'm hearing, and I think that we shouldn't do that. Do you know what I mean? Because I was like, don't tell me.
Don't you feel like
it's
not the same?
I say to Gemma, sorry, just quickly. I always say to Gemma, like, I don't want to go to parents' evening, because I don't want to hear their opinions on my child. Like, I just want to know what number in the class is he. 1 to 10, a number. That's it. I just need to know what we need to do at home. Because the thing is, in my head, I'm gonna put, and I'm slightly joking, but I'm also not joking. I'm gonna put all of my energy into it, right? Like anybody that knows me knows if I do something, I'm doing it until it's done, and I'm gonna do it properly to the maximum of my potential and my ability, right? And I look at parenting in exactly the same way, and I look at relationships in exactly the same way, right? Like my friends know I'm a loyal guy, yeah. Like it's to the end that with me, it's no issues. So in my head, I'm like, there's not, even if somebody gives me a piece of feedback, it can't really make any difference because I'm already doing the most that in my head I can do, right? And I know you can say that, but someone can tell you to do this or do that, yeah. But I'm just giving you an idea of like my mentality on the idea, of, and the thing is, I'm not stupid enough to understand that there's not that's a very one-way road and one-way type of thinking. I get that, but that is my way of thinking, unfortunately. no matter how much I will try, yeah, there'll be times when I say to Gemma, all right, babe, let's just sit down and talk about it. And like honestly, after a couple of minutes, I'm like, are we done? Have we had enough of a conversation about it now? And she'll be like, no. And I'll be like, okay. And then, but the thing is, I just can't. Like, I can't. Like me, but you know, that's it. Maybe in 10 years.
In 10 years time, you're a joker.
I think with the therapy thing though, we were blessed to have a couple. So they'd been married for a while. And we felt like they didn't ever take any sides. Like they kept referring back to their own personal experiences. So that allowed us to reflect and to understand and see ourselves through their experiences. So we would explain something and then they'll say, well, from our experience, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. And then we were like, oh, so we're not the only ones. We're not the only ones going through this.
And they'll be like, oh, that argument.
Oh, that argument. We've been there, done that. So then they'll explain what happened with them. And then we'll be able to see, and then they shared how they resolved it. And it just made such
I definitely think it's a big difference, 100%.
Were they a black couple, and did any of that matter?
It didn't matter, but they were white. It didn't matter at all.
Yeah, and they were, honestly, they were from our church. Honestly, like, we tell everyone about them, and I really feel like they have to
make it a professional
thing because they're really good. But it got to a point where we were just like, this is like, we were going through a really tough time because after we had our first son and we were trying to adapt to kind of like now being parents.
Whoever says children fixes things, huh?
I don't know who said that. So basically we were trying to adapt to becoming new parents. So we got, so our pastor's wife said, okay, we'll get you guys therapy, counseling. So then they organized that for us. And it
was revolutionary.
Yeah.
And I was very skeptical about it. So I get where Kay's coming from, because like I know exactly what you mean. Like I don't want no one to tell me about a relationship, no one to tell me about me. And I'm very like I'm quite a sensitive guy. So if you talk any shit to me, I'm off. So but like I it took a while for me to kind of warm up to it. So I just gave it a go, and I was like, actually, it's not bad at all. It was actually very freeing. Actually,
I can't remember how long we were doing it.
We did it for a minute, man.
Yeah, we did it for a while.
Yeah, it was really good.
But do you have other people that you talk to? Because
that's what I was thinking.
Because for me, it's like, it's not that, and I say that like when I said that, I am slightly joking. Like it's not that I don't talk to anybody. Do you know what I mean? But for me, it's like I've got friends, close friends that I've known since age 11, and you know that for me, half an hour conversation, we can get through a hell of a lot of stuff, right? For me, and you know, there's a lot of the times I just need like a reality check, or I just need like, you know, and I just, for me, that it's just, I think the main issue I have is not the thing of talking, because I love talking and things coming out. And like me and Gemma will talk to people, right? And we've got no real issues about like putting our dirty laundry out there as well. And we'll have conversations with people. That to me is not the issue. The issue is more the structured counseling concept and the idea that like, because I you know, in my spare time, or like I'm very interested in like NLP and like studying language, you know, and that I just find a lot of this stuff is very formula driven and very, you know, this is the typical answer to this question. And then I will find myself, and I'm just saying this because I've been in an experience where I've done like these, like, you know, it was on a leadership course basically, but that we went away and there was a very structured like learning thing. It was all about NLP and stuff, but then they really wanted to go deep into these things, right? And like I was the only person that didn't talk, but I didn't talk because, and I'm talking like the 20 people in an auditorium and everybody's talking and people are throwing out things that you're like, wow, you should, like, it's deep. But still, I didn't feel like I needed to talk, and that they were like encouraging me, and I was like, but I don't understand the concept of this moment. I've learned in my head, I was like, I've learned lots of things already today that I can't even think of what I would say, and I'm not sure what I would gain from it, right? And for me, the structure of it was an issue. But then after the event, after the actual structured bit, I couldn't stop talking about stuff that I was feeling to people that I was around, right? But to people that I trusted and I knew. And I think, and that for me is always my main barrier, I think, with that kind of thing.
Yeah, with us there was no structure. We just spoke.
And I feel like with the whole thing about talking about your relationship to your friends or whatever, I think that's when sometimes it gets a bit complicated, because your friends always have a bit of a bias towards you as well. Sometimes you have those friends that tell you as it is, or maybe sometimes you have those friends or family that just always side, no matter what. They don't even give you logic, but always side with your partner. It's just like you're saying something, but for some reason, they're your family, but for some reason, they just side with your partner. For no reason whatsoever.
That's my mum.
Yeah,
That's all my family.
Yeah, so no matter what, there's no logic behind it. It's just he's right, you're wrong. Yeah. That's it. And there's no way to resolve things. That's not a way to resolve things. And I think with friends as well, if let's say it's something that's quite big, then they now form an opinion about your partner. And after you've resolved it, they still have this opinion.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just not even worth going there with, you know, speaking to your friends about a situation, because you know that we're going to get over this because we always get over it. But you're not going to get over it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are
paranoia, though, isn't it?
Two people out of my whole circle that if I'm gonna kind of really talk about stuff between me and her, that I will talk to them about purely on the fact that I know, regardless of what I say, their interaction with her is still going to be the same. But I am so mindful of that, because I know there are some people, God bless them, in my family and my friendship circle who I will never, ever tell our business to, because you know that they will never get past, oh, and then she did that. And so, and it stays, but I think what you said is so important. And you have to know.
You just know the right people
you can speak to,
I think we're quite lucky where we have a lot of friends and family. I know you say that your family always take my side, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. But I think we're quite lucky where we have a lot of friends and family where I don't think they judge us individually, and I don't think they take sides, and we're able to talk to a lot of our friends and family, whether we're joking one evening over, you know, dinner, or if we need to take it a little bit more serious and then, you know, have a phone call or a conversation where we need to kind of let out a bit. I think we're quite lucky where we're able to do that. Not all of my friends or family have been able or had the opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what Russ said and what you just said, but I think, you know, initially I took it as there's two ways to look at it, right? It's you not wanting your friends to know certain things about your partner, right? And you sometimes thinking, I wonder if they said that with that in the back of their mind, sort of thing, right? Versus them not treating your partner differently, right? It's two different. To me, that's two different layers on it, right? For me, I've never had the worry of them treating Gemma any different. And also, again, like, because I've been with Gemma so long, my social circle is, they know Gemma just as well as they know me.
It's the same circle, really.
Yeah. It's like, you know, we run in the same. So, you know, most of the time they'll be like, well, I bet Kayode was being a dickhead and Gemma, do you know what I mean? Most of the time, or not, or they'll be like, yeah, I can see that. I can see how she might have flipped off the handle or whatever, right? And it's not, but for me, I don't have the worry that they're gonna treat her any different. I do sometimes have the other worry, which is, actually, I was in a bad mood and I made it sound worse than it actually was because I needed to vent. And then, my camera, I needed to vent. And actually, you know, I don't actually want them to think that Gemma actually did anything in that scenario. But then to be fair, I don't know. For me, it's just like.
And as you probably heard as well, we're quite real with each other and with everybody else. And if people don't want to hear stuff that we've got to say, like, we don't care. Or if they take it personally or think, you know, we're bad to each other or we've done something that's really unusual or whatever, if they've got an opinion on us that they don't like, then they probably shouldn't be our friends, or they probably don't know us very well. Like, we are very open and we're happy to express to each other and other people. And you know, most of our friends and family kind of know that. That's probably why, I'll leave it like that.
Yeah, she was gonna say compliment. Nearly. There was a compliment. Nearly.
It was an
Change your mind.
You guys are cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank
You guys are cool
you.
too.